Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. We're making donuts today. I am so excited. I am a little bit under the weather, so today might go a little bit quicker than originally anticipated, which knowing a lot of you are my fellow neurodivergent friends, I know you won't mind as much. So my hope, we're gonna have 3 delicious donuts by the end of today, and you're gonna see that it really doesn't take all that much work. The base recipe for all of these donuts tonight is the same. A lot of and those of you who are watching who are my clients already, you know this, I'm all about ease. It has to be easy. It has to be easy, has to be indulgent, has to be something I'm going to want to eat and not something I'm going to want to spend, 10 years cleaning up, because who wants to do that? So what we're going to do today is make the same base donut recipe so you can see how quickly it can come together. You can even do it on a weeknight. And then the glazes for each will be different. All right, so let's get into it. And I will be posting this recipe in the Hormone Hotties broadcast channel as well as in the CCA page. CCA clients, it's already in there for you. If you search donuts on the page, you should see an old recipe, but I'll be posting the modernized one too, okay? So let's talk ingredients. So for this, throughout today, hold on, I need my water. It's a fake one. It's not real. This was $16, I think. And it serves the same purpose. I'm just saying. So, and I have my chat open here. Feel free to chit chat with me. So some of you guys watching today have dietary restrictions. Like if you notice anything here, I'm not going to have the actual substitutes like the dairy substitutes or the nut-free versions for the sake of time today. But with this recipe, everything is interchangeable with a dairy-free option. So the butter, you can use your favorite dairy-free butter, vegan butter. The cream, you would use your own dairy or non-dairy creamer of choice. Very easily convertible. The almond flour can be interchanged for lupin flour. You may just have to play around with the amounts based on how your oven heats up. And it's like, there's no real scientific way to give you an exact measurement to change it out for, because it's made of beans. So, it's not exactly, I'm gonna say the word exact again, an exact science. So you can alternate almond flour with lupin flour. Make sure you don't have any kind of sensitivities to beans, because sometimes those who are allergic to nuts will have bean sensitivities. And if that's the case, message me and I'll give you another alternative. I'll find an option for you. Okay. So you guys are all going to be getting these recipes again, but we're going to be working with 1 1/4 cup of almond flour. All right. We got our, what are we going to do here? We got to mix our dry ingredients, right? So we got 1/2 teaspoon baking powder. I should probably put the screen on the food, not on my fotch. But here you go. All right. Got our almond flour. We got our baking powder. Made a lot. That was dramatic. No. And then we got our coconut flour here. Coconut flour absorbs liquid. So a lot of times people will ask, can't I just interchange the almond flour for the coconut flour? But you cannot. I'm sure there's a recipe that exists out there, but if you were to just do cup for cup, it would probably come out disgusting. So again, message me if you need a fine-tuned substitution. But we're going to throw our 2 tablespoons of coconut flour in there. Oh, wait. The powder here, this is erythritol. This is sweetener. This is baking powder, and those ratios look a lot more appropriate. So it's all right, though. All the dry ingredients are going in. And then lastly, we got xanthan gum. Xanthan gum, so little science lesson. When you're eating a product with gluten in it, gluten actually is the protein that comes together and forms the bond, which makes the texture of the finished product. So if you've ever seen, and the more you agitate gluten, like flour, the tighter that bond becomes. So if you've ever seen like how they throw pizza dough around, or how they roll pasta through the machine 1,000,000 times to get it nice and stretchy, versus recipes like cake or brownies, let's say, that tell you to basically just mix to combine. It'll say do not overmix. And the reason for that is the more you mix it, the more gluten forms. Just a little science trivia for you. So when you're making a gluten-free product, you don't have that same structure because you're removing the gluten, which gives it that stretch and that structure. So the xanthan gum does what the flour or the gluten in the flour is supposed to do. And it just kind of binds it together more. Okay, so super easy. Throw all your dry ingredients in a bowl. I'm going to melt this. It's just butter. Oh, it's just softened? I thought it was melted. Oh, different recipe. I have my stat assistant here today. Okay, so we got our softened butter. Pop this right in our blender. Oh, you're telling me. It doesn't matter. Oh, it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. This recipe, you can do all the wet stuff in here first. You can do all the dry stuff together. That's throw it in and friggin' mix it, right? So we got our eggs now. I chose the smallest of all my bowls to put my shells in. I'm gonna give that a mix first. I love it. I can just pass it off and away it goes. Yeah, you have to say yes, chef, before you walk away with the blender. So this is also, oh my God, is it gonna be loud? We'll just keep it at that speed. I also wanted to do a Q&A. So I know those of you who have me as a coach or you have a CCA coach, you know you can message us anytime, ask anything. Those of you who are tuning in from our broadcast channel, I want to give you an opportunity for Q&A as well. So feel free. I know it might be intimidating, but if you want to ask in the chat feature any questions at all, this goes for anybody, but those of you who might be shy because you're not used to our weekly Zoom, please feel free to hop in the chat. That is loud. Okay, so not smooth yet. I guess you can't dump it all in at once. You gotta go and blend it until it's smooth. So this recipe, I came up with this recipe years ago. I don't know if any of you in here were following me during my Pudge Page days, but on Facebook, if you look up the Pudge Page, it's like the Pudge Page Lazy Low Carb Community. You can find so many of these recipes. I used to do these donuts in so many different ways. But you gotta turn it back on. Just let it rip. Okay, I can just say it now. So the recipe will be on the CCA page, Susan, as well as in the Hormone Hotties broadcast channel on Instagram. I think I put my sleeve down right in some egg goo, and that's disgusting. Anyone else in here have OCD and cannot think if you get anything on your hands? It's always my favorite, being a baker and having OCD. In culinary school, I got marked off for the amount of times I had to go wash my hands during bread making. So fun fact, if ever asked. No, I just can't think. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, I feel like neurodivergent people, like we feel this all the time. You know how in Men in Black, they had that little like laser thing that they press and then it just wipes everyone's memory. That's how I feel about certain things, like the sound of that blender, egg goo on my hand. It's like, can't think of anything else. So Nicholas is just putting the dry stuff into the blender, giving it a mix, scraping down the sides occasionally. So as you guys have seen, all the wet goes into the blender, blend it up smooth. Add the dry, blend it up smooth, okay? And I'll show you how I type it in once that's done. But we also went ahead and made a batch ahead of time. And this is fun. You not have my gnarly eggshells next to it. These are fun because you can either use a star tip like this to pipe the dough into the little mold we have, and they'll come out fun and crispy, or you can use a round tip and you'll get a nice smooth regular donut surface. We decided to be a little fancy today, so I'm going to show you guys how to glaze these, right? My chat is so quiet. Ask me anything. Ask away. And while you do that, I'm going to heat the water for the chocolate. So remember I told you we're going to be making 3 different kinds of donuts tonight. So for the chocolate covered, everything's ridiculously easy, but you're just going to take some chocolate chips, keep them in a container, microwave a container of water that's large enough for this one to sit in, like a double boil. And we're just going to microwave this for a minute or 2 until it's really hot. Fun. I want to eat one of these. Well, I got to show you guys, right? Because it's science, for the sake of science. You open them up. Look at how, like, they're cakey, like cake donuts, but they're not heavy like cake donuts. Like, they're still. You haven't heard a blender? It's all I can hear behind me. I'm like, it sounds like we're about to take off. Okay, I'll take it. So then I've just been hearing awkward silence as Nick is by the blender. So sorry. But on my end, it sounds like there's a truck next to me, just so you know. My Zoom is only picking me up. That is so cool, technology, right? So anyway, cakey, because they're not fried, delicious, fluffy donuts like I am forever yearning for. But I'll just have the regular donut once a year, have the runs for a week and call it a day. Everyone survives, right? So, but for these, like, they're friggin' delicious because they're light like you wouldn't expect a cake donut to be. And they just hit the spot. I love them so much. So, no bullshit, it's actually good. I'm not like just saying it's good and then it tastes like a brick. It is really good. So, how many can we eat at once? Because donuts and I have a special bond. Many as you want, Susan. They're made from almond flour, like eggs and butter. You know? The chocolate chips I'm using, Lily's chocolate chips, they're sugar-free. Powdered erythritol instead of powdered sugar. And good strawberry jam for the strawberry glaze. So I don't count. I like to eat food where, for me, I had such a binge pattern relationship with food that, like, I had to be able to just eat. Like, just eat until I was done. When I was in my diet culture mindset, I really thought that meant I would just go off the rails and I would never stop. I would just eat way so much. That doesn't happen. When you remove restriction, you eat according to how much you want. You eat until you're full. Like, those mechanisms kick in. So you end up eating less than you would if you restricted yourself. So for me, I have to be able to have volume food around, meaning I need to have food around that I can just eat and not have to sit there and count my macros or have to be worried about calories or whatever, because I just can't be bothered with that shit personally. I still can't believe y'all couldn't hear my blender. It's amazing. Are they crumbly? Sometimes gluten-free is like dust. No. My mouth is dry because I'm talking a lot and because I am trying to get through this, not seeming like I feel sick. But it's, as you could see, don't look at my gross nails, but if you can see there, like, it doesn't crumble apart into dust. It's spongy. It's spongy. That's the word. It's spongy. Where would I find the jam without Trader Joe's? The jam I got on Amazon. The brand is called Good, and they have a bunch of different flavors. I love them. I wish I could have food to eat that I didn't have to worry about hurting me, meaning being able to afford it. It's annoying. It for sure is. Like, I think it was like $6, and I don't know how much jam in the store is. You know, I know that the erythritol, like this was like $8, which is annoying. A little hack though about the powdered sugar that saves you some money. If you get the big bag of erythritol from like granulated erythritol from Amazon, what's that brand? Anthony's brand erythritol. Like they make big wholesale amounts of ingredients and they're usually a lot cheaper. If you just put it in a food processor or a high-speed blender and you pulse it, like I even use my little magic bullet blender, and you just like pulse it a few times, it creates powdered erythritol. That's how they make powdered sugar. They just high-speed blend regular sugar and it creates powdered sugar. So I bought this just for the sake of ease for tonight. But if you wanted to save some money, you can get like the giant 5-pound bag of erythritol. I think it's like at most $15. Don't quote me on that because everything gets more expensive, I feel like, in a day's time. But and then you can break that down into powdered sugar. And with that powdered sugar, you can make so many yummy things. So definitely message me. I can give you some tips too, specifically. Nick, just the tip, Nick says. Okay. So, oh my God, my water's probably cold by now. I don't think this is gonna do it. So we're gonna put it in for another 30 seconds, release all those nice Chinese food takeout BPAs into the water that I'm not gonna drink. I get weird about like I'm not a very, if you followed me for a while, you know, I keep it casual. I'm not gonna be the one that's afraid of like plastic stuff, even though I know it's not the greatest. But when it comes to like microwaving in plastic containers, I get really skeeved out. So for that reason, we may make the switch. I love the Anthony's brand. I have xanthan gum, fiber, nutritional yeast from them. They make such good stuff and they have such good prices too, which is amazing. You never see that anymore. Okay, it's definitely hot. So easy. Just gonna take my chocolate, plop it on in here. Actually, chocolate in here. What? My husband just told me to put a lid on it. Okay. Lid on it. That's gonna sit aside for a little bit. Then we got our powdered sugar. To do the powdered sugar ones, oh, are you piping over there? Let me show them how you're doing this. Sorry. Okay, so what Nick did, he put a piping tip in a piping bag, both from Amazon. You can get a big ass roll. I'll link it in the broadcast channel. Oh my God, they can't hear you talk. So you could be saying like dirty things behind the scenes, making me laugh, and they would have no idea. Technology. Anyway, Zoom's trying to stifle Nick, he just said, because I realized you couldn't hear that either. So anyway, you can get a big pack of these piping bags. I think it was like 20 bucks, and I bought it like 3 years ago. So they last forever. Plop that more on top here. You put one of these piping tips, get a kit with these in them, also not all that expensive. And then I bought these years ago as well. So then we just took a container that would fit the bag. I can do this with one hand, but the reason I can do that is because I spent $50,000 on culinary school. So if you did not spend $50,000 in culinary school, put your piping bag on a damn cup. It does the same thing. And then you're just gonna put all the batter. I've had calls all day. I'm so sorry. In here. Thanks. See, this was all scrunched down at the bottom. It's just a regular cup. Just freeze up the hand. And then You're gonna squeeze it down. I used to teach cake classes and I friggin' loved teaching piping. Piping was my favorite because everybody thinks that it's so difficult to do. And it's just more so, it's more intimidating than anything. Once you learn like the basics of it and then you practice, it's actually really fun. So you say the piping bags are reusable then. They can be if you're not lazy like us and we just clean them out and recycle them. But I have, it wasn't allowed, but I worked in a bakery that reused them. That was way worse than if you just saved it at home. But to be honest, unless you're like making these every day, I'd probably toss it just for the sake of sanitation. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking it out loud, I'm like, there was eggs in here. But they give you like a whole big roll of them. Okay, so here's the tip to here's the tip for piping. So I used to tell my students, you want to hold the piping bag like a carrot at the top, right? Like you're holding it by the leaves of the carrot. And then you're going to take your other hand and between these two fingers, you're going to put them right here. Put them around and squeeze down until a little bit comes out. Okay, then what you're going to do right here, because remember, you still grab this with your hand, you're going to turn that until it's really tight and there's some tension and some of the stuff's coming out the end. Okay. So, and then this hand guides, this hand squeezes. So you're not going to squeeze down here. That is the cardinal sin. It makes piping ridiculously messy and difficult. You're going to only squeeze from up here. This hand just guides this squeezy bit, okay? So we're gonna pipe it right around. You do not need a fancy piping bag. You can just spoon this in and then smooth it if you want. I've done this so much that it's quicker for me. Stay down. And as you can see, as I'm squeezing, I'm pushing down with this backhand. I'm never doing anything besides guiding with this hand while I need to. This hand up here is just to squeeze down, okay? And as you go, you turn it so it stays nice and taut with the pressure. Damn, it's so close. Oh wait, I think I can get a whole one out of this. Come on, there's extra in there, I know it. We always got an ugly cousin in the bunch, you know? That's just gonna be the ugly cousin for today. That's it. You mix all the wet, you mix the dry in there and then put it in the blender, and then you put it in a tin. And that's it. These are gonna get baked. Oh, thank you, set assistant. Those are gonna get baked at 350. How long do we usually? It's about 15 minutes to check on them. Okay. The chocolate is moving at a glacial pace, so that's gonna sit there still. You're gonna take your jelly. Okay, I'm glad you struggle too. Damn. No, I know you didn't struggle, but like, if it were that easy, I would have felt bad. So. I'm gonna take some of this. Looks highly appetizing, but just trust. And we're gonna microwave. I have no idea how long, so we're gonna check on that in 30 seconds and see. I do a lot of things by feeling. I talk with my hands, I measure with my heart, and I just time things out by intuition, I guess. Now Nick is mixing the chocolate for me. Oh, I guess we can do some powdered sugar. So the thing with the powdered sugar is if you're going to be doing like a powdered sugar donut, you want it to be once the you want it to be when the donuts are fresh, when they're hot still. That's when you want to take them and you want to put some of this in a bowl. Oh wow, 30 seconds will do it. You basically want it like liquid like that, right? Oh my God, it smells so good. Freaking love strawberry jam. Okay, so for the strawberry donuts, really easy. You're gonna drop it in. You're gonna flip it over. Give it a nice little jelly bath. Oh, damn. Actually, I'm gonna set this up. We want to avoid drippage. So set up a nice little wire rack. Look at this, this is so pretty. So it can cool off. I'm gonna microwave a donut real quick because I don't have fresh hot ones for you. So just gonna warm that up for a sec. Chocolate's good. So you'd probably have more luck doing this on the stove. This is taking forever. I put a lot more chocolate in it. I really did. I was like, what is this little bitchy amount of chocolate? Come on.
I mean, only needed to.
I need to enrobe it. I want to enrobe the donut in it. Oh, I microwaved that too long. Well, you guys won't be re-microwaving your donuts for this, so. But pretend this just came out of the oven. Ow, that's hot. Then you're just gonna drop it in. Lay it on top. And if you want to put some extra powdered sugar on top of it, just to like fully enrobe it, you can sift a little of the powdered sugar on top after. And like I said, when this is nice and baked and like just fresh out of the pan and you throw it in the powdered sugar, it'll stick better. But did you see how friggin' easy that was? I just tussled it around in some microwaved jam and then in some powdered sugar. And now we're reheating the water, but you saw how easy that was to, I mean, it's supposed to be, to melt this chocolate. And it is, you can see it, it's starting to form. The lighting in here is top notch. Just needs a little bit more to go. And then we'll have all 3 donuts. And we just hit a half hour and I've also been bullshitting. So, okay, let's see what you guys are saying over here. Just thinking of making gingerbread houses and getting frosting all over me for not knowing the correct method. The piping bags, yes, now it's your party trick. You can practice. Like my client, my students back in the day, I would have them print out, I would print it for them. You can print out piping templates, put it down on your counter, and then put some plastic wrap on top of that. Take Crisco, because it's cheap, and just whip it up so it's nice and fluffy. You can put the Crisco in a piping bag, practice tracing over the piping templates on top of the plastic wrap, and then just throw out the plastic wrap when you're done. So I used to love doing that with them, and I would like set it all up for them so they can practice first, but you can just do that at home. And then next time you have a gingerbread house get together, you're gonna blow everyone away. They're gonna be like, oh my God, did you go to culinary school? And you can be like, no, I didn't have to pay for that shit. Michelle taught me. And you don't have to work for any assholes that just try to get free labor out of you. Look at that. I have so many stories from my baking days. My microwave is under the countertop. It is. I wanted one of those like microwave drawers, but them shits were like $1,500, and I heard they are riddled with problems and stuff. So I'm like, let's just put the microwave under here and hide it instead. Oh, I thought I had something in there. Oh, you took it out. You punked me.
Come on, fast.
Very, very sneaky. I'm about to just post the picture of the chocolate covered donut in the group to be like, I promise you I made it. Because for some reason this chocolate's choosing to take forever to melt.
Let's get in there.
I know, but then you want to like dunk it and everything. And I'm pretty sure they can figure out how to cover it in chocolate. Like I think I have lots of talents, but covering things in chocolate, I'm not very dainty with it. It tastes good. So what does it matter? I think anyone can cover shit in chocolate. And 9 times out of 10, it'll make it better. It is really satisfying to watch this though. Look at that. Look at that beautiful silkiness.
Silky smooth.
Did you hear him say silky smooth? Did it pick that up? Or just Zoom just hate it? Hate Nick, I mean. Do you and Nick, what did you say? Do you and Nick cook together a decent amount? Watching y'all make me want to make my hubs bake with me. Yes, we do. Nick is great. I have calls really late a lot of times, and Nick is really great at making dinner. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
You fucking shit. It's taking forever. Yeah.
Listen. I hope they can hear you talking shit right now. So yeah, we cook together a lot, even when we're just making dinner and stuff. And then when we bake, half and half. Sometimes I'll just get up and do something. Sometimes he'll just get up and make something. And then the other half, I pester him to keep me company in the kitchen because I like baking with him. Shit, I almost knocked over the chocolate Nick worked so hard on. Okay. So, oh my God, I'm gonna make a mess. Hold on. Bloop. Push it out a little. Bloop. You know, they were bound to make a stink at some point. I mean, hello? Like, I can get the donuts in the shot. You guys need a good picture. And again, with the bullshitting, with the explaining and everything, we're about at a half hour. And we now have all these donuts, 3 different kinds. And I wanted to show you, like, you can go crazy with this. I have made like all kinds of glazes. Like I've even mixed, I've taken wine before and mixed it with some of this powdered sugar cloud, mixed it with some of this until it formed like a glaze. And I've glazed donuts and made mulled wine donuts that way. I posted in my stories today, bacon maple donuts by putting sugar-free maple syrup in a glaze and then putting crumbled up bacon on top. Like you can go crazy with additions to this. It's endless. And the base recipe is essentially the same. You mix all the wet in the blender, you add the dry, you mix it, you put it in a mold. That's literally it. These look amazing. Can't wait to try them. I have to go because my mom just stopped. Oh, the mom has said hi, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Does the chocolate get hard once cooked? But once cooled. I found, I mean, it gets like kind of like more of a shell, but because there's not a whole lot on here, I find that it's not like crunchy. If you wanted to keep it really soft, you can make an easy ganache. Ganache is my favorite. It's super easy. You just take equal parts cream and chocolate. You heat up the cream until it's like a little under boiling. Pour it over your chocolate and then just stir it. And that makes a ganache and it's delicious. And that will stay really soft, like more of a frosting. Can I toss blueberries into the donut? Absolutely. I've done that too. I've made lemon blueberry donuts where I've done like lemon zest. Zest is where you get the lemon flavor, not the juice. So I've done blueberry lemon zest. I've done, I did raspberry ginger before. Like, what? I've done peanut butter and jelly by adding PB2 to the batter and then glazing them with the strawberry. I've even done a grape jelly glaze before. I freaking love this. Red velvet donuts, which is like you add a little cocoa powder and a little red dye to the batter, and that's red velvet, honestly. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you are feeling a little bit more motivated and less intimidated to get into the kitchen, especially on a weekday. I don't believe in telling ourselves we shouldn't crave sweets. I freaking love sweets. So why wouldn't we and want to make something that won't affect our hormones and won't make our blood sugars go crazy, but that we wouldn't enjoy? So if you need any help converting these to make them suit either your dietary needs or you want to brainstorm some recipes, whether you're a client or not, shoot me a message. I love this stuff. So enjoy your night and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.